Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for that presentation. This has been like a very hot topic on my heart for a while. But just to pick up from where you stopped, how did you manage the human factor of this sort of leading of change in an environment? Like you said, you mentioned that some people's responses were like, this is how we've always done it. And how did you get people to sort of move from, this is how we've always done it, and this is now the new way to do it. This is now the standard that we are working with.
Thank you. We'll probably both take a bit of that question. It's a really interesting question and really important, and I'm not going to lie, we still have issues with that. So we still, as I'm sure everybody, this is a familiar story, we've always done it this way. I think that for us, it was actually, we actually welcomed NHSE into the Trust because it did provide the impetus and the starting point to say that we cannot continue what we're doing. Whether that was from a place of ignorance, of we didn't realise the hole in the wall that's always been there, and it's been, as we often say, it's been there since the days of Agnes Hunt. You know, it's been there for decades. We forget it's there. To then have that actually pointed out to us, it allowed us to then say to people, but we can't continue with what we're doing. We need to do this differently. And the key thing within all of that, I think, is being open and being facilitative. So embracing what we hadn't done right, but making sure that every member of the team that we spoke to had a voice. So by taking our subject matter expertise to the coal face, going into the ward and saying to our HCAs and our cleanliness technicians, how are you managing with this? That's a really difficult area to clean. Can you do this? What could we do differently to help you? And it was a change of, you need to do it like this, to what is it that we can do to help you to do what you need to do? And that was a key change, and it didn't happen overnight. It didn't. It took weeks, and I've got a member of the IPC team at the front here, Anna, who will be testimony to that. She worked diligently and hard on every single day to change that culture. So it wasn't an overnight change, but I think gradually, as we were able to evidence the support that we could offer to our staff, and to show that if you speak to me about something, I will help to change it. And we delivered on it, and I think that's the key thing. Do you get anything to add?
Yeah, just to add, really, that from a meeting, very often the criticism that you'll be receiving is delivered in a meeting. It's often these days delivered on Teams, and I think one of the things that was critical for the operational teams was that we took the conversation away from the meeting and actually went and stood around on the ward and went and stood around in the department as a team, and as Sam said, asked, one of the questions we like to ask now is not, how can you make this better? It's, if you had a magic wand, how would you do this? Because the ideas are there, but very often the staff don't feel like they have the ability to provide their expertise. So take the conversation away from the table or the teams and take it to them would be my takeaway.
Yeah.